Good morning and welcome to Newswatch Today. I'm Victoria Guerra.
And I'm Nathan Lamb. A gunman in Kansas City injures 15 people, and Grace Perkins will have your complete weather information.
Delta Airlines is facing lawsuits, and Jay King will bring us the latest in sports. This is Newswatch Today. Thanks for joining us this morning. Right now, we have Grace Perkins here with us to give us the first look at weather.
Well, Grace, are we still going to need those big winter coats today?
For today, we will definitely be needing those big winter coats and probably into tomorrow even. We've seen just about everything these past few days, whether it's been sleet, snow, or just that wintry mix that we've been having. Winter weather advisory until 12 p.m. Just keep that in mind that it could be slick out there on those roads, even though there's not any precipitation happening right now. Just be careful and mindful of that. Some of us woke up to a dusting, and some of us even woke up to sleet this morning, especially east of Highway 65. So again, make sure that you're being careful on those roads, watching out for slick spots. There's not really much happening precipitation-wise, especially just throughout today. Right now, current conditions are 34 degrees. Overcast, not really much precipitation happening until later this evening. Wind chill is at 24 degrees, and stay tuned whenever we can see some more snow in our forecast and my full forecast later on. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Grace. We'll hear more from you during your full forecast. 2 people were killed and 15 injured in a mass shooting that occurred outside a nightclub in Kansas City, Missouri, Sunday night. One of those killed was the shooter, Jaron Swift, a 29-year-old Kansas City native who was waiting in line to get into the bar. Swift and others waiting in line got into an altercation, and it was then when Swift went to his car to retrieve the firearm and began to open fire. Swift was shot and killed by the security guard shortly after he began shooting. Police are working on this ongoing investigation.
In local news, earlier this week, the organic grocery store Lucky's Market announced that they will be closing its doors just 2 years after its grand opening of its location here in Springfield. This location will be one of 32 different stores closing down across 10 states over the coming months. Doors will be open for the last time on Wednesday, February 12th.
15,000 gallons of jet fuel were dumped on over the Los Angeles area as a Delta airline flight had an emergency landing. The jet fuel was poured over people and buildings, including schools. Students and teachers who were outside at the time were exposed to fuel. According to the Delta Airlines, part of the normal procedure to land a plane safely requires the dumping of fuel in order to reach a safe landing weight. The pilots were asked by Air Traffic Control System Command Center if they needed to dump fuel in order to ensure a safe landing. The pilot said, quote, "Negative, we've got this under control," end quote. The airlines is now facing a civil lawsuit and violations as more than 50 adults and children were treated. Coming up, I'll be talking with 2 students about the Founders Weekend beginning this Friday.
And a college student denied entry into the U.S. This and more next.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
United States Customs and Border Protection detained and later deported an Iranian student who was returning to begin his spring semester at Northeastern University. 24-year-old Mohammed Abadi entered the country with a valid F-1 student visa, but was removed from the United States before he could speak with a lawyer. Northeastern has stated that they are still pressing the CBP for more information and has not yet received a satisfactory explanation. This Friday, Evangel University is hosting Founders Weekend, where high school students interview for the Founders Scholarship. Victoria?
Thanks, Nathan. In the studio with us, we have two current Founder students, Megan Rogers and Nathaniel Perales. So thank you guys for being here with us today. Why don't you just start off, Megan, by telling us a little bit about what Founders is?
The Founder Scholarship is a scholarship that high school seniors can apply to, and depending on their high school GPA and their ACT score, sometimes their SAT score, depending on all of those, if they qualify, they come to the weekend and they interview, and automatically if they interview, they get a set amount of money, but then some students will be awarded more depending on their interviews. So.
Okay. And Nathaniel, can you tell us a little bit about the interview process, like what goes into, they come in on Friday, Thursday, kind of what is that?
Yeah, so they'll come in either Thursday evening or Friday morning. And for the most part, Friday it functions kind of just like a normal preview weekend. They'll have tours, they'll have lunch, class visits, etc. We'll take them into chapel. And then Saturday morning, they'll have an early breakfast, and then they'll go in and they'll do group interviews. It'll be split up and they'll go around to different rooms, and it's usually professors in pairs. Just ask a question, they'll go around the table. And then after that, they'll come back and gather and go in for individual interviews, where they'll get more specific and be able to ask more questions about the process and anything that they're still wondering about at the end of this.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, this semester around, or I guess, so there's 2 dates, correct me, that they come in and interview. What are you guys expecting for this weekend?
Actually, recently, the last few years, we've seen higher and higher numbers for founder students, and so this year is just like that. Usually, this weekend is much larger than the later weekend, just because most founder scholars like to get this out of the way, because it can be quite daunting. So we're seeing larger and larger numbers coming in. Which also means that we have more students helping us host these incoming students and more professors helping interview them. So it's just growing bigger, which is something that Evangel really likes to see.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Now you guys are current Founder students. Kind of tell me a little bit, Nathaniel, what it kind of felt like when you came down for an interview, kind of that process that was going through your head.
To be completely honest, I was kind of clueless. I don't really know. I think I visited Evangel twice, and both times it was just kind of like, I really don't know what I'm doing. What is college? But I think I wasn't really, as far as the interview process, I think that's what gets hyped up the most about this. Obviously, that's where the money is, if you will. And for me, I wasn't too terribly concerned about it. I was more concerned about my music scholarship auditions the day before. But I mean, there can be nerves and stuff associated with that, but really the interview process, it's a lot more laid back than it may seem. They're just trying to get to know people, especially in the group interviews. That kind of helps soften things. I know for me that helped kind of soften things up and remove some of the barriers right away. It was like, okay, we're just with people around a table, sharing what we've gone through, sharing our experiences. And I think it puts people at ease, especially right before their personal interviews.
Most definitely. Now, before we have all of these students coming in this weekend, Megan, what is one thing that you would kind of give advice for current students on campus that can kind of help better the experience for those prospective students?
Right. So one thing that I notice a lot around Founders Weekend is we have a lot of new people on campus, and they always have like a little name tag. And a lot of times they look very lost. And so maybe if you see someone that looks a little lost, offer to help them, offer to take them wherever they need to go, or anything like that. That would be my advice.
Okay, well, we'll keep that in mind. And thank you guys so much for joining us today. We'll take a look back at Nathaniel, and then back to you, Nathan.
Thank you, Victoria. Well, joining me now is our weather expert, Grace. Grace, should we be expecting more of this winter wonderland as we approach the end of the month?
Absolutely. I even think tonight that we'll be having some snow showers throughout the area, and make sure to be safe on those roads because there could still be slick spots from last night's weather. You'll hear more about tonight's weather in my full forecast coming up.
want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Lower than usual temperatures in South Florida has caused reports of iguanas falling down from trees and startling residents. The National Weather Service has issued a warning about the situation, saying that the cold temperatures have made the iguanas immobile, although just because they are frozen does not mean that they are dead. Well, Victoria, it seems like these cold temperatures are here to stay, huh?
Oh yeah, most definitely, and hopefully, we get a little bit of warmth, but I don't see that in the future. So we'll go ahead and talk to Grace, who has our full forecast right now.
Thanks, guys. It certainly has been pretty cold out there. Right now we are sitting at 34 degrees. It is overcast outside, and keep in mind that we still have that winter weather advisory out until 12 p.m. tonight or today. There's not really going to be much precipitation happening until a little bit later on today. We might see some spotty showers, some snow, but it might not be in all across the region. We do have a wintry mix happening possibly today, probably around 2 p.m. 37 degrees is our high today. Humidity is at 99%. Our dew point is at 32. And that wind chill is all the way down to 24 degrees, so it definitely will be a cold one out there. Make sure to grab that coat. Later on tonight is whenever we will be seeing some snow showers into Friday morning. It will be 30 degrees. 7 p.m. is whenever our chances start to bulk up a little bit at 50%. Really, I think that most of that will be happening past 10 p.m. and we will wake up to maybe 1 or 2 inches of snow on the ground. Not a whole lot, but definitely something. Looking at our radar, we can see that we have some of those sporadic showers coming in through the Midwest. Down south, they are having some of those storms happening, some intense rain and thunderstorms. That's kind of carrying up into the Midwest, but most of that is actually going to be frozen by the time it gets to us, and it's going to be pretty limited into Friday. Moving on to our national highs this week, we're seeing moving on to the next 8 hours this week, we are seeing some not a whole lot of happening with the precipitation. At 10 a.m. it will still be overcast. At 12 p.m. it'll be 36 degrees. That's whenever our chances of rain come in just a little bit more. 2 p.m. it'll be up to 38. Some of those snow showers start showing up then if they do happen. 4 p.m. we're going to be back into the regular rain, and into 6 p.m. it will still be raining. Into more of the winter weather that will be coming in tonight. Looking at our national forecast, we can see pretty clearly that in the Midwest, we're having that winter mixed conditions happening. Even in the Pacific Northwest, that's happening too. Down here, we have some low pressure systems in the south with that rain, those thunderstorms that's carrying up into this system here in the Midwest. Looking at our national highs, we have 30s, 40s right here in the Midwest, what we've been experiencing the past few days. Even in the western part of the states, we're seeing some of those really cool temperatures, so that winter weather will be kind of moving in tomorrow. Not terribly, but it'll actually warm up this weekend just a little bit too. Over here in the Northeast, we're also seeing some of those colder temperatures, some heavier snowfall, that sort of thing happening. Now moving on to our 6-day forecast. On Friday, we're seeing some of that winter snow. It'll kind of piddle off into the evening. It won't be super heavy, but we will be expecting some precipitation coming down. High is going to be 35, low is 26 on Friday. And then on Saturday, we're going to be starting to warm up a little bit nicer weather. Not too nice, but it'll be nicer than what we've been having the past few days. Partly cloudy skies Saturday through Monday. That'll be really sticking around just for the weekend. Back on Tuesday, we're going to be having some of that more scattered showers, high of 54, low of 40. And then onto Wednesday, we're also going to be having that wintry mix coming back into the region. That's all I have for today. Back to you guys.
Opioid recovery.
Also ahead, the Kansas City Chiefs to play in the Super Bowl. We'll be right back.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
I should not have that in there.
Stand by.
$1 million has been pledged by the Cox Health Foundation in efforts to reduce opioid abuse in Southwest Missouri, specifically in rural areas. The funding will aid in the expansion of evidence-based educational programs for young people about the dangers of opioid abuse and addiction. It will also allow for certification of rural providers to offer medication-assisted treatment for opioid addiction and increase the resources for integrated treatment. According to the news release from Cox Health, the Health Resources and Services Administration is the providers of the fund. The Southwest Missouri Community Opioid Response Program will funnel the program. Well, it's kind of nice to see that the community is getting involved and organizations are working to better the community.
Well, I certainly agree, and I'm sure that Jay King, who is standing by the sports desk, agrees as well. Jay?
Yeah, Nathan, I do agree. I look forward to seeing how this will bring a better change to our city. Recently, a Netflix docuseries based on the events of the life of Aaron Hernandez, an NFL tight end, was released showing all that led to his trial for double homicide and has generated a lot of buzz. Aaron Hernandez suffered from what many professionals have described as one of the worst cases of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, otherwise known as CTE, they've ever seen. This leads us to wonder, how dangerous can the effects of the disease be long-term? If you're interested in seeing the story, check out The Killer Inside, The Mind of Aaron Hernandez, and visit theconcussionfoundation.org for further information on the disease. Bronny James, son of world-famous basketball player LeBron James, turns out to be quite the player all by himself. Playing a key role in the rotation at high school powerhouse Sierra Canyon in Chatsworth, California, Bronny has carved out a role that has garnered him plenty of attention around the basketball world. Enough so that fans in disapproval of his game seem to have already surfaced. This past weekend, a fan threw trash from the stands at the freshman point guard and was ejected from the game. When asked about the event, LeBron would respond, "Hating has no age limits." He also commended his son on his ability to react with poise and remain calm and collected during adversity. Great to hear a legend supporting his son who just might catch up to him one day. And it's the Gridiron finale, where this year, Kansas City, the Chiefs, who haven't played in the Super Bowl in over 50 years, will be playing in the big game February 2nd versus the San Francisco 49ers on what will be the 100-year anniversary of the NFL. We hope to see a Chiefs victory at the Miami Stadium, as the last time they made an appearance was a loss at the hands of the Green Bay Packers. Looking to bring a Super Bowl to longtime NFL coach Andy Reid, superstar quarterback Patrick Mahomes is eyeing to outplay the 49ers, headed by quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo and a stifling defense, and bring home the win on Sunday. We are looking forward to seeing that trophy come back here in Missouri. Back to you, Nathan.
Thanks, Jay. When we return, we'll get another look at Grace's forecast.
And a man finds $43,000 in a couch. Stay with us.
eat, eat, eat apples and bananas. I want to eat, eat, eat apples and bananas. I need to eat, eat, eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat, eat, eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
The next time you buy a couch from a Restore, you might want to check the cushions and see if they feel a little uncomfortable. Howard Kirby recently purchased a couch from a Habitat for Humanity Restore in Owasso, Michigan. Weeks later, he began to notice that the ottoman of his couch was feeling a little bit uncomfortable. His daughter-in-law decided to unzip the cushions, and then when she did, she discovered a hidden box containing $43,000 in cash. Although Kirby has no legal obligation to return the money, he felt it was the right thing to do. He contacted the store to find out who had donated the couch, and Kim Fothery Newberry had donated the couch after the passing of her grandfather who owned it. Her and her husband were not sure why they had the money in there, but they were sure grateful for it. Although Kirby could have used the money at the end of the day, he feels good about his decision. One thing that I'm not really feeling good about are these temperatures that are outside because it's so cold.
Oh, I hear you, Victoria. And with more on that, we'll send it over to Grace. Grace, take it away.
It certainly has been a cold one out there, and we can expect that on Friday, but we will be seeing a weekend warm up. Tomorrow we'll be seeing those snow showers kind of throughout tonight and then into the day. Tomorrow they'll kind of piddle off into the evening, and on Saturday we'll be seeing highs in the 40s, lows in the 50s, really all through Saturday through Monday. That's what we'll be seeing is just a nice little weekend warm up, a little bit better than what we've been seeing lately. Tuesday we'll be seeing some scattered showers and a high of 54, and Wednesday will be a wintry mix, kind of back into that winter groove with a high of 38. That's all I have for today. Back to you guys.
Well, thanks for that, Grace. It certainly will be a cold one today, so keep those coats and have a nice one.
That's all for us today. I'm Victoria Guerra.
And I'm Nathan Lamb here with Grace Perkins. This has been Newswatch Today. Please join us next week.